podcast world, and welcome to this week's episode of Tiggs Bits, your weekly dose of insanity fueled by me, Tiggs. We have a special guest on today's show. Dr. David Ware and I talk about the Sean Payton era, memorable Saints games we've been to, and even a discussion about the upcoming Super Bowl between the Rams and the Bengals. Please help this channel by subscribing to the show and give us a review. It will definitely help us reach a larger audience. We'll be dropping new shows every Wednesday. So without any further ado, let's jump into this week's episode of Tiggs Bits. Welcome to Tiggs Bits.
Tiggy, what's up, dude?
It's another night in paradise, you know?
Yeah, man, this is awesome.
Well, yeah, man. So I know obviously we're going to kind of talk about the Sean Payton era. Sean Payton hanging it up in New Orleans anyhow. And I know that you have some fun and fun stories. I do as well. And it's just going to be candid. You hadn't told me any of this stuff, which makes it even more fun because I have no clue. You have no clue what I'm going to talk about either. Guess what? I don't either. That's what makes this fun. It's Tiggs Bits. It's a whole candid take on sports wherever you can start to think things like you're MacGruber. MacGruber! It's Tiggs Bits!
Unscripted.
But anyhow.
Sean Payton. He's gone.
It is sad.
Yeah, it is.
But,
yeah.
You know, you knew this day would happen. It was inevitable,
Absolutely.
Especially with Drew Brees retiring last year.
Yeah.
It's getting tough. And he went far from saying he was burnt out over everything, but you know, he was burnt out.
Well, I think so. And I think I'll say this. I think he looked at it almost from a business decision of the timing, because he really struggled with it. And he even said, you know, I'm walking away from a really good team. It's not like the cupboard's bare and I'm bailing and, you know, the ship's sinking. You know, the defense is incredible. We get Mike Thomas back. Let's say we draft a wide receiver. Obviously we need a quarterback, but if they do those things, then this is absolutely a playoff team. And he walked away from it. And he knows that was a pretty high cost. But I think he looked at just the whole, you know, the timing, his age at 58, and the succession plan. You know, I'm assuming Dennis Allen's going to take over. So in that meeting that he had with Miss Gale and team president Dennis Lashua before he got on the plane to go to Cabo, I'm pretty sure they talked about, look, Dennis Allen's going to leave and go be a head coach. How about he just coach the Saints next year? And I just kind of bow out. And
yeah, I mean,
I'll just keep it rolling. That's what I think happened. That's complete conjecture.
Well, it totally makes sense with, you know, I mean, Dennis Allen has been a head coach, but what an amazing job he's done, you know, with that defense over the last several seasons. And I mean, if there's anybody who could take the ship and continue to push this thing forward, yes, I think that there's definitely some holes that have to be filled. But you get past this season, just injuries, as you said, just you know, the cupboard isn't bare. I don't think it's a rebuild kind of time. I think it's let's add some weapons here. Let's get a little protection here. You know, some things like that to really solidify the team moving forward. So, and I think Dennis Allen has enough experience and he knows the system. He knows the program. You know, you can't put a price on that.
He's going to be a head coach.
Yeah.
In 2022.
Somewhere. Yes. He's going to be. Absolutely. You want him to coach for you or against you?
Yeah, that's right. So that's what I think happened. I think Sean just looked at it as like, yeah, I might hang around, but I don't know. This is probably a good time to hit the eject button. And he was burned out and he's sick of COVID. But I don't think this was a he doesn't necessarily know what he's going to do next year. He wants to do TV, but
right.
I think he just did the math and honestly kind of did what maybe as they view it is what was best for the franchise, So,
right.
I mean, what Sean Payton did for this franchise, wow. I mean, took it from 40 years of not even mediocrity, of subpar, low performance, just terrible, one playoff
low
win.
Performance being possibly the nicest term that you could ever interject into a conversation about the late 60s, all of the 70s, most of the 80s until the 87 season. Any of that?
Right.
Oh, God bless them. God bless those people who were there from the jump, and there are still an absolute ton of them who are there today, which is amazing.
What he did, I know this term has been, culture change. He pulled off a culture change. And I don't know, I can't really think of another franchise that has even done that, but 40 years of low expectations, mediocrity, that's being nice.
Right.
With, a couple of nice, made the playoffs, blah, blah, blah. And some bad luck being in the 49ers division in the 80s. But to turn it from, as a child growing up, every weekend it was like, oh my God, are they going to sell out the Dome so we can see the Saints on TV?
Right.
To they've never, my kids don't even understand the idea of the Saints not being on TV because the Dome has been sold out every season since 2006.
Right.
That is a culture change from never, ever having sold out the season to having not done it for 15 years in a row.
Correct.
That is unbelievable in sports.
And I think that'll continue to happen. Now, if the product starts to stink, regardless, next year, I think you get a bit of an excuse, maybe a bit of a lay down and as far as complete expectations. Because let's be honest, the Super Bowl has been the expectation for the last decade plus for the Saints and for Saints fans. You and I both know, as being complete diehard LSU fans, the illusion that starts to come as a fan and the fandom, you begin to not appreciate some of those smaller things that that you've been a part of. The rebuilding. I know you and I being part of this, kind of going off on a tangent with LSU, but being a part of that in the late 80s or in the early 90s when they just went to complete dookie, went to complete crap. They were absolutely horrible. To then the building process of bringing back the magic, all of that up until Nick Saban gets to town, and then everything changes at that point. And we haven't looked back since then. 22 years later, that machine's still rolling. Good seasons, bad seasons, championship seasons, all of that. The Saints have been right there in a similar kind of area in the NFL, I would say, upper echelon, but they have not got it done quite as much as you alluded to earlier. The calls, circumstances, voodoo, magic, whatever the hell you want to call batteries in Chicago, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It just somehow they always come up short, but they did get it done one damn time.
That's right.
One damn time, which is amazing. It's amazing. I really never thought that I would see it. And I highly doubt I ever see it again, honestly. But
you may not. Honestly,
you may not.
Yeah. Sean Payton took, and even comparing, the culture change topic, Burrow in Cincinnati, Saban at LSU, but really what Sean Payton did, there was no history of winning at all in the Saints past where, the Bengals have been to the Super Bowl twice. LSU had won a natty, in 58, so our dads were like, yeah, I remember when LSU used to be good. We got to get back there. So the fans were, even the old guys were like, well, yeah, I know. I've seen them win a natty. LSU can do it again. The Saints had no history of
right.
any success. And this guy, absolutely turned it into just one of the best franchises in the NFL. 62% winning percentage in the NFL over a 15-year period is gaudy. I mean, that is unbelievable.
It really is.
It's underappreciated.
Is.
And,
I mean,
probably won 2 Lombardis if you talk about the Rams game. And
yeah, absolutely.
Maybe I should say went to 2 Super Bowls, if not
at least gone to 2 Super Bowls. I mean, you face Brady in that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
If that happens. But if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. Isn't that how it goes?
Yeah. But that's what makes us as Saints fans, I think, appreciate we got a Lombardi. We know how hard it is. And even though in 2011 we came this close to, and got knocked out, we had the best offense, in the Saints history. And
for sure.
And the Nola no call, we got screwed. We should have been in the Super Bowl, but it just makes winning the Super Bowl, it's like our lives went from Saints haven't won a Super Bowl to Saints have won a Super Bowl. So the rest of our lives, the Saints have a Super Bowl. So we win another one. That's great, but we got one, and the Falcons can't say that.
That is a
Falcons
fact.
Ain't got one.
Nope. I doubt they ever do. I really do. But you never know. At this time and age, the way the league is structured, inevitably there probably will get one, but hopefully it's no time soon. Frankly, I don't believe it will be anytime soon.
No, they're not close. They're gonna lose their franchise quarterback soon. But I was reading through the Sean Payton timeline. His first playoff win against the Eagles, and went to the NFC Championship game in his first year. I mean, that was an amazing year. Of course, 2009, winning the Super Bowl. And then really the big downfall, the Bountygate investigation, all that crap. And he had to rebuild it. And it was ridiculous.
Well, that's why I asked you.
He went all the way back down to the bottom of the mountain and climbed all the way back up. So we really can't ask him for any more. And
absolutely you cannot. I mean, he gave it all. I do thoroughly believe that he gave it all he had. The Bill Parcells, some of the things that I love the most about Sean Payton is that he coached the game like Bill Parcells, and what a mentor to have the tuna. But I mean, dude, the things that he got from those runs, the Giants and I mean, he did well with the Cowboys, not as well, but those runs with the Giants, some of the things that he would do on road trips and stuff like that, kind of like last season with the Saints having to relocate because of the hurricane and all of that, and basically play their first 4 games, wasn't it, on the road, having to play their quote unquote home game against Green Bay, moving it to Jacksonville, a complete strategic move.
Right.
Just shows the genius that is Sean Payton. And I don't know what
attention to detail, that's
attention to detail.
And that's what Parcells, he got his, Payton got his PhD in coaching from Parcells, and how those little things matter. And, just because the NFL is so, the margins are so small, and there is so much parity, and the difference in winning and losing is just point here or two.
It's razor thin, man.
It's razor thin. And special teams is like he just every little detail Sean Payton, paid attention to and didn't leave any stone unturned.
For sure.
So, I really enjoyed this season, the 2021 season, even though it was just such a mess. It was a cluster, injuries, and, we never had a roster. We never had our start, but just seeing Sean Payton move the chess pieces, roster management, he had a winning record this year. We had a winning record, and we were, almost made the playoffs. Just
it's
crazy.
Absolutely unbelievable. It goes to show.
It was a fun year.
It was a fun year, and I think, arguably, of course, you have a Super Bowl and multiple just unbelievable seasons. But this might have been his best coaching job of all.
He
had nothing. He had nothing after like week 5. Nothing.
The hand he was dealt, and he turned it into something. And it was a fun year. I went to 2 road games. I went to the Titans game, and honestly, we beat the Titans up and down that field. Missed 2 point after attempts.
Yeah,
and Troutman's offsides on the 2-point conversion to tie it up. And then I went to the Jets game in MetLife, and we won that one. And that was just the Kamara show.
Yeah,
like
they couldn't stop him.
It was just like,
and it's the Jets. But still, how is that place? How is that called? And now it's Gillette. What is that stadium?
It's MetLife Stadium. Yeah, it's in New Jersey. It's across the river from New York. So it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. We take the Superdome for granted because it's downtown New Orleans and you can walk from your hotel room. And most NFL towns aren't like that. New York, you have to drive or take the train from Penn Station. It's a hassle to get out there. We stayed in New Jersey and got an Uber, and it's just not the same. Saints fans, we really are special, and we have a unique situation, and nobody has more fun than us. And there's no
way. I don't know. The Buffalo Bills fans, those guys do seem They seem to have a hell of a lot of fun. I'll be honest with you.
Oh, yeah. But even looking at Arrowhead, it's out in the suburbs. There's a big old parking lot. That's
concrete
jungle. That's not the Dome. The Dome is right in the middle of downtown.
You could probably get better ribs in Kansas City for that game than you can in New Orleans.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
That's about it. So, Nashville's a good city to go to a game because you can stay downtown Nashville and walk across the pedestrian bridge. And Cincinnati, the stadium's right there on the river, so you could stay downtown. But there's not a lot of places, where you can stay in your hotel and walk. And they tore that down, and now there's a baseball and football kind of next to each other. Cincinnati's a good town. Nashville's good, but there's not a lot of places where you can watch your team and then just walk back to the hotel, or most of them are like, the worst one is New England, the Patriots. It's like 20 miles outside of town, and it's like if the stadium, like say New Orleans, the stadium would be like in Slidell, just on the exit of an interstate. And like there's nothing there except a mall or something. Arizona Cardinals like that, just kind of out in the middle of nowhere, and you can't have drinks and walk back to your hotel. So point there is New Orleans. We got a special team, special facility, city, and Sean Payton era is over, but we're not done. We're one of the best run franchises. Starts at the top. We got a great owner and a great management, Mickey Loomis, and as good as it is, and Jeff Ireland running the draft. I mean, I'm I'm very optimistic about the future. We got to get a quarterback. Obviously, that's the thing. That's it. That's every team's problem to solve.
It is. And whenever anybody that hears this down the road, if this part's still in there, I mean, we have no clue who the quarterback's going to be right now. And, it looks like it may be leaning more towards keeping Jameis Winston possibly, but who knows?
I like Trevor Siemian. I really do. He's cheap. He's a smart guy, and now you've got to surround him with talent. But I think that
you just nailed the one thing that concerns me. That as a fan base, we can't slip back into. He's cheap. No.
Yeah.
I mean, if we can go get him, let's go get him.
Well, I don't mean 10 years.
We can go get Russell Wilson or somebody like that. We're not going to be able to. I don't believe that'll happen again. This will probably be irrelevant, but I don't see.
No, you're right.
I mean,
you got to be aggressive.
You have to remain aggressive, and I don't. No, he ain't the answer. I disagree. I disagree. But I hope he is. If that's the direction that they go, look, I'm behind him 100%, 100%, and I hope that if that's the direction that they go, that you're right.
Well, I think Jameis and Siemian, like Jameis is your starter, Siemian would be your backup in my scenario. I'm not saying name Trevor Siemian our starter and go all in on it, but that's and I'm only really talking about next season, just because there's no quarterback. There's nobody in the draft who's worth a crap. None, zero. I don't even want him to draft a quarterback. Just get one of those Ohio State wide receivers in the first round, and maybe an O-line.
We definitely need a wide receiver,
and a safety, and a linebacker. Like, you're not drafting a quarterback,
right?
Not with your first 3 picks. So we do have a quarterback problem for this coming season. Maybe Jameis will resign, but he's a free agent, so he could go wherever he wants. So that is the big mystery for the next year for the Saints. But overall, the roster is really solid. So we'll see what happens. I trust them. Again, the culture change prior to, Sean Payton being hired, Katrina, 40 years of just so. And I grew up in Louisiana. I grew up in Baton Rouge. My dad would take me to Saints games. And I remember going to a Saints game in 1986. And I was 15, and my only goal was to get a game program. We would sit in the upper deck at the terrace level, get a game program. And then after halftime, third and fourth quarter, it was like a tradition. Kids would start tearing out pages of the game program, making paper airplanes, and just tossing them and trying to land it in the midfield, Florida League.
Absolutely.
Like that. I couldn't wait.
I remember.
I don't know. Dude. I didn't know the score of the game. Who cares?
It didn't matter.
Of course we were
losing. If it would make it to the freaking field, that place would go bonkers, dude. Bonkers. Oh, I absolutely remember that. You remember? You remember when they would slide that stuff down the? They had the lines that would go down to the field. They would send photos from up at the top of the dome. They would send those down on that zip line, for lack of a better term. I don't know what the hell you call it. But then other things started sliding down the down those lines. And it did take and that went away. But anyhow, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you. But no, I fully remember those days. It was an amazing.
You would just
deal.
go, and there was you wouldn't even have a conversation about, well, man, if we win this game, then that's like, no, like we're just going to go, we're going to have fun. We're going to eat some ice cream. We're going to throw some paper airplanes. We'll leave in the third quarter, whatever. And like, that's just how it was.
Right.
And for years and years, and we'd go to a couple of games, 2 or 3, 4 games a year. And like winning wasn't even on the radar. Like
no.
you wouldn't even get mad about the, oh yeah, we played the Giants today. We lost 43-10. I don't even know. I don't even
didn't care
what the score was. Who cares? Just, go hang out with my dad or, and that was fun. And that's the value of having, that's like the cash value of having a sports team is you get to do stuff. But what if they won? Whoa, wait. What if we beat people? Okay, I'm listening.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what Sean Payton did. It was like, oh, wait, okay, playoffs. All right, and then
playoffs.
And, Jim Moore started, but like, it's like, yeah, right, and like just the whole shift of, and I know the Bengals fans right now are kind of going through that of the last 30 years.
They are,
but
yeah.
Like I said, they went to 2 Super Bowls, 30 years ago. So, it's not like they have been complete abject poverty.
No,
like the Saints were pre Sean Payton.
But I'll tell you, there's a lot of similarities in the two franchises, especially. It's been 30 years. And those days that you're talking about, those were in the first 25 years or so of the Saints. So, it's been that length of time. There's been 2 damn generations of kids born. They don't have a clue who Ickey Woods is.
Over the Christmas holidays, there was a conversation that took place, and there was, an older guy who in his mind, the Saints are a losing franchise. And he's like, yeah, the Saints, they're not going to make the playoffs this year. They're back to who they were. And talking to my son, who's in college now, and he doesn't ever remember the Saints losing.
Right.
And so there was this generational, kind of impasse of the Saints, they've always sucked. And my son was like, wait, we've never sucked. What are you talking about? I'm in college.
Yeah.
We go to the playoffs all the time. And that is a culture change. When you have a generation of college kids who don't ever remember losing, Sean Payton went to the playoffs. He was a coach 15 years. He went to the playoffs 9 times.
Right.
That's incredible. That's unbelievable.
Absolutely. Give me a single fan base that wouldn't accept that number. There's a handful that would say right now that would not be acceptable. But you know what? All of them have had some moments of doubt and dry and no prosperity. All of them. Right. That's just the way it is in the league. That's just the way the NFL is. Yeah. And, but what Sean Payton has been able to do in the age of parity is to just continue to have success. To have a winning season in 2021 is just as we've talked about, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Without wide receivers.
Without anybody. It sucks that some of the hands they were dealt. That Miami game should have never happened. It should have been moved. The NFL moved other games. Would it have made a difference? I don't know. Would they have had enough people back by that Tuesday if they would have played?
Probably.
Yeah, it would have helped. It certainly wouldn't have hurt. It certainly wouldn't have hurt. And they win 10 games then. Let's say they do win that game. Not to take anything away from Miami. Yeah. They beat that ass that day. Mm-hmm. And they should. It would have been kind of a slap in the face because they were playing really good ball at that time. So, That was just one of those games where you run into a buzzsaw. But if bad luck, I mean, as much good luck, fun, fortune, and all of that, and we're not going to talk about that. That's a whole nother. That's a whole nother podcast.
I'll say this,
I mean,
the defining moment for me of this 21 season was the Titans game when we missed 2-point afters. Yeah. And then, as in the fourth quarter, we score a touchdown and we have to go for 2 because otherwise it would have been tied and the PAT would have been to win the game. But we have to go for 2, and then Troutman,
you're right.
Ball start. So we can't go for 2. That we on the field, on the grass in Nashville, Tennessee, we beat the Titans at the line of scrimmage. And Trevor Siemian was the quarterback. But we lost the game. Okay, fine. I get it. And there you go. That's the difference between us making the playoffs. And that's why they were the number 1 seed, which, maybe why the Bengals are in the Super Bowl, but it's all connected. But that's
I mean,
that's how close Sean Payton was to being like 10-7.
You can go back
to the Giants game.
That's what I was going to say.
Giants game, we were up by 11.
I was at the Giants. You and I both were at the Giants game.
That's right. We were there.
Yeah. We both. Yeah, we saw each other before the game, and that's the only Saints game I actually made it to in person this season. I
walked out of that stadium. We walked out of that stadium thinking, "Wow, this Daniel Jones guy, he's legit."
Yeah, maybe they're about to go on a little run here.
and then
no, it was
he sucked.
One of those days, that was, and in my opinion, of the whole season, just kind of reflecting back. It's that one game that you want to have back because that's a winnable game. Now,
absolutely.
Now, Daniel Jones he really and truly made some amazing throws that day. I mean,
absolutely. Incredible.
Some of the most
that's
incredible.
The NFL.
Yeah. I mean, look, all those guys on any given Sunday can absolutely chunk the ball. There's 32 people on this earth, and specifically in the United States, who can sling a football pretty damn good. So I mean, it ain't hard. There's going to be somebody who can say everybody can sling it, and you never know. That's what makes it fun. Whenever you have your moments with your mustache dude, what's it, Minshew or whatever, Minshew,
right? Oh yeah,
you get him, and then homeboy who was at Buffalo the other day. He's the beard. Fitzpatrick, Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Oh yeah.
That dude,
Fitzmagic,
dude. I mean, he fits magic to us too, but I can actually live with that one. It didn't really matter when afterwards in the big scheme of things, but that dude's a baller. Anyhow, so going back to kind of some stories, any other stories that you have pre Sean Payton joining us in 2006?
Well, I guess pre Sean, just again, expectations. Like first, growing up, expectations were 0. And the question was, are the Saints going to be on TV this week or not? And usually the answer was no. And so, okay, we'd go to a couple games a year. And then Jim Mora came and we played really well. And, the Saints, this could be another topic too. Like we really have had really bad luck. A lot of these coin flip situations have just gone against us. And I think the Buffalo Bills probably have the biggest claim to bad luck in football history, but the Saints probably number 2. We had some kick-ass teams in the 80s, but we were in the division with the 49ers and Joe Montana and Tom Rathman and Jerry Rice and Oh my God, some of the greatest teams of all time, and we could almost hang with them, but not quite. And so we would finish second in division, which means you had to go on the road in the playoffs, which means you would lose. And that's just bad luck. And, and then, going back to recent history with the Minnesota Miracle and the Nolan No call, again, those are just coin flip games, which we've lost every coin flip, it's on those.
How is that even possible? But
yeah,
if a team can do it, they can do it. It's just, that has never changed. That stayed the same. That didn't really, there's
a buddy of mine who's from Syria who doesn't really understand American football too well, but he likes it. And he knows I'm a Saints fan. The Minnesota game, the Minnesota Miracle, Stephon Diggs catches the touchdown at the end of the game.
No, I'm fully aware. I was there. I was at the damn game in Minneapolis. He says, "Why that guy do that thing?"
I'm like, I don't know.
No one knows.
Game one. We were down 17. Drew Brees brings us back, and then
trust me.
But best Sean Payton moments. Let's talk about positive stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
And this is a good question. What's the greatest moment in Saints history?
For me or for you?
You kind of have to say. Well, I'll see what you say. I'm going to say the Thomas. I'm going to say the Falcons punt block. It was the greatest moment in Saints history.
Well, I 100% cannot disagree with you on that, and I will take it. I'll take that even further. All right. Not only for me was that game, which I mean, good God Almighty, just wow.
Yeah.
But the energy in that place. Were you there?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I thought so. I thought you were.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't matter if you were a Saints fan or not, really, that night if you were in there. But most people were die hard Saints fan. I was emotional walking in the stadium. Absolutely.
Post Katrina, I thought we would lose the franchise. They're going to go to San Antonio. Tom Benson's a jerk.
Right.
That talk about a culture change. That guy turned his whole thinking around. We're going to lose the team. We finally had something decent. Okay, great. We don't lose the team, and we're going into the Dome that night. We're 2-0. It's week 3.
The Falcons. This is a Michael Vick in his prime,
right?
Led Falcons team. By the way, they were good. They were damn good.
I was just so happy to still have an NFL team.
Absolutely.
Not everybody has a team. No. A lot of states don't have teams. A lot of fans.
And that San Antonio thing was a real deal, back then.
And then Monday night, Falcons, the hated rival, opening possession, 3 and out. Gleason blocks the punt. I was sitting in the upper deck, and I've never, ever, ever heard a stadium so loud. It was the LSU Auburn kind of thing, except I was in the upper deck that time, and the upper deck was rocking.
Oh yeah, it was.
And I was up there too. Tell you, I thought, this is how I'm going to die. And I'm okay with that.
Absolutely.
What a great way to go.
Dude,
this is it. I'm done. The stadium's about to collapse. I don't even care.
I've never heard anything louder ever in my life. Tiger fan till I die, you know that. But I've never heard anything louder. I've been to the Swamp. I've been to many games in the Dome that we'll talk about. I've been to a ton of games, including the Auburn earthquake game. I've never heard a sound like that in my life, but you nailed it. It's the emotion. The emotion when you walked into that stadium, people hadn't seen each other in a long time. They're hugging, they're crying.
Right.
So season ticket holders, everything that took place in that building, everything, all just the emotions, it just all came to a head. Green Day and U2 opening it up. The Saints are coming. They still play it before Saints games. That hasn't changed. I'm getting chill bumps.
I know, man.
I hear it in my head right now.
That game was a religious experience.
It is my number one sports game, sports event of all time. It ain't even close. I have to thank my good friend Tom Chopin for the ticket, as I got to go with him that night, and I go to a lot of games with him, but to be able to go to that one, dude, before that game, all right, so I come down from Baton Rouge and I'm trying to find Tom to get my tickets. There's no digital tickets or anything like this. Even then, you can't just text me the ticket. that doesn't exist. Which is crazy that's not that long ago, but anyhow, we're getting old, whatever. So I go to try to find this man. As you remember, that whole circle around the stadium, and they've done things to it since to widen it a little bit and make it flow a little bit better. But that day, I've never seen that many people on the concourse at any point in my life.
Oh, I know.
And you couldn't get around.
It was a zoo.
There was no cell service, none. You could not get through to anybody. You couldn't get a text through. In those days, you remember Nextel? Nextel was the only thing that was working during and after Hurricane Katrina. You could ping people and whatnot. That wasn't working. So I have no idea where Tom is at in this whole mass of the Superdome. But I'm in New Orleans before this game. And I walked around with that herd of cattle of people for what felt like hours. It was probably an hour. I made maybe a loop and a half. And I ran into somebody that I knew in the middle, smack dab in the middle of that herd of people. And he knew where my buddy Tommy was. And he took me there. And I got my tickets. And then I sat in the upper deck. The rest is history. And I watched all of that stuff too. I can't remember the section. I think it was 421. But
that game was absolutely just because you just understood kind of the power of like the NFL and having a team and like,
right.
Man, this is where I'm from, man. This is our people. This is what we do. Like football, it ain't a game, man. This is our society. This is our culture. This is what it's all about. Like we're all together, black, white, every race, we're all here. This is our team, and we're going to blow the roof off this thing tonight. And we probably aren't going to win, but we're going to do it anyway. Well, yes, we did win. We beat the crap out of our most hated team, and we blocked the punt, and Steve Gleason goes into immortality, and the roof literally almost blows off. We almost all collapse and die, and we were fine with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And after that, it was like, that was Drew Brees' first game. That was Sean Payton's first game. Marcus Colston's first game. Like, right. I think things are different now, and boy, were they. And
it just went from there, didn't it?
Unbelievable. We go to the NFC Championship game that year, go to Chicago, and could have, if we won that game, we'd go to the Super Bowl, but it's fine. We made it that far. We're good.
Oh, that was I mean, we finally got that far. Like, okay, maybe we actually, if we could get back to this, maybe we can win it. You know,
well, the Super Bowl at that point was in our sights, so it's like, oh, okay, well, we got close, and then 2009 happens, and I remember like week 3 or 4 winning at Philadelphia, and Bobby Hebert after the game saying, you know, this team has everything. We went on the road, we blew them out at their stadium, and we win 13 games in a row to start the season. 13-0. The New Orleans Saints. Let's just pause right there for a second. Week 13, the Saints are undefeated and have already clinched the number 1 seed. There's 3 weeks left in the season. Mm-hmm. We don't even have anything to play for. Okay, well, whatever. All right. So we lose 3 in a row. Who cares? We're the number 1 seed. We go to the Super Bowl. But my favorite part of that was the NFC Championship game against Minnesota.
Oh yeah,
that's where the Bengals are right now. Like, they've won the conference and now they're in the Super Bowl. Like, that's when I was at the Minnesota game, overtime,
right?
You know, too many men on the field, illegal formation, Minnesota. We were about to lose. Favre was about to beat us.
Yep.
Oh my God, we got this far. It's over. We lost. Flag. Okay, now they're out of field goal range. So he throws the pick. Tracy Porter goes to overtime. Garrett Hartley kicks the field goal. We're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
At that moment, honestly, I remember thinking, I'm never going to ask for another thing in my life. I don't even care if we win the Super Bowl. We made it.
Right.
We are in the game. We are in the Super Bowl. I don't care if we lose 50-0. I'm never asking for another thing in my life. And I'm serious.
Yeah.
Like, we kick the onside kick to start the second half. We win the game. That was lagniappe.
Oh yeah.
It's whether we won that or not. The Saints made it
just finally
to the Super Bowl.
Finally got across that barrier, that roadblock. Yes, just make it. Just make it. I was the same way.
Being in the Super Bowl is history. And I know nobody remembers number 2. Well, if you make it to the Super Bowl, yeah, that's history.
If you're a Saints fan,
you
win or lose, you're going to remember that. No matter what. Oh man. I mean, of course that day that's a whole other show to talk about, just the emotions, the build up, all of that led to that Super Bowl. But one of my favorite memories is of that day that my daughter, who just got accepted to LSU and got a nice scholarship and all of that good stuff. Yes. So let's Congrats. Go. Way to go, Haley.
Big day. Big day for Haley.
Big day. But the thing that always comes back is she was in kindergarten when this all started, when we won the Super Bowl. She was in kindergarten and she remembers all the songs, the black and gold Super Bowl and all that fun stuff, and stand up,
really?
Get crunk.
That's awesome.
Oh, absolutely. Because they made a huge deal out of it in kindergarten in her class. Her teacher was a huge Saints fan, Miss Panay Berlin. Great lady. She's also an Alabama fan. It's okay. We've
let's just move along.
It's okay. She's a great lady. Yeah. Great lady.
I love it.
But they had just an amazing year, and then of course the Saints run of being 13-0, and just crazy.
Yeah.
And then she remembers that night, finally, the Saints actually win the Super Bowl. They won the freaking Super Bowl. And she just remembers her daddy on the rug in the living room doing snow angels. And as this is her description, I don't know if it's accurate, frankly, doing snow angels and crying like a little bitty baby and just saying, I can't believe it, which I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I still can't believe it.
No,
I still can't believe it. I never thought it would happen. All the bad luck that has been before and after.
I know. Yeah. And honestly, I'm serious. Just beating the Vikings in that overtime was so stressful. Just like the Bengals with the Chiefs, overtime, winner goes to the Super Bowl. Like just the fact that we won that game on a walk-off field goal, just like the Bengals did. Wow. Yeah. I didn't even like that's it. I'm good. I don't need to go to the Super Bowl. We can lose by 50. It's fine.
Right.
We made it to the Super Bowl, and that's good. I'm never going to ask for another thing in my life, and correct. I don't care if we lose. And I honestly, I was watching that game. Same thing. My son, same age as Haley. He was like 5 at the time, and I sat on the couch with him, and I was like, man, we could lose. I don't care. It's fine. We're in the Super Bowl, bro. And then, we got behind. It's like, well, it's not looking good. It doesn't matter. I don't care. Yeah. We're in the Super Bowl. It doesn't matter. We'll get back there. And then this is how I think, look, we got Drew Brees. We're going to be back again. It's fine. We can lose today. I don't care. Onside kick to start the second half. White ball. Tracy Porter takes it to the house. Okay, we're going to win this thing.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
That fourth quarter got as freaking as intense.
Really not going to ever ask for anything.
No, you can't. That fourth quarter got as intense as anything that I've ever been a part of in my entire life. Just, woo.
Unbelievable. And we live in a world where the Saints have won the Super Bowl. I mean, that's
what a world.
It's good. We're good.
Absolutely.
And it's
absolutely.
All
time will march on, as our good friend Tracy Lawrence says. And
that's right.
And so will the Saints.
Yep. Sean Payton, thank you for what you did. I went to that Super Bowl parade.
I did Mardi too.
Gras, and it was unbelievable. I took my kids. Cooper was 5. Anna was like 2. She was on my shoulders. It was unbelievable. Garrett Hartley was riding in that high heel shoe with LED lights on it, waving to the.
Absolutely, I did look.
That was a religious experience. Absolutely.
My buddy Tom, which I've already mentioned tonight, we worked together at the time, and somehow or another he was not able to go to that parade. I definitely snuck out of our same employment. I know he wouldn't have been happy. I think I've told him.
Statute of limitations. You can tell the truth now.
I think so. I know that he loves me either way. But I think that I have confessed this to him. But I snuck out, took my wife and Haley, took my daughter, and we went to the parade. Now, we were not able to get close. We were somewhere kind of close to the dome on one of those little off streets. They zoomed by fairly fast. I did not care. I also got back to Baton Rouge relatively quickly, all things considered, and I got to see them. I didn't get to take good video or anything like that. But then again, it wasn't like it was now with all of that video and all of that good stuff. So, but yeah, I agree. And I do not regret doing that one bit, because that is another memory that my daughter still talks about. Like, kindergarten kicked ass for my daughter. Wow. I mean,
wow. Yeah.
Super Bowl run, the same thing. Then you fast forward to my son's kindergarten or first grade year, kindergarten. undefeated Joe Burrow season. I mean, my kids start school good. I just hope that there isn't a drought now. But hey,
Louisiana, we really have had a 20-year run of incredible. We really can't ask.
No,
I'm not jealous of Alabama. I'm not. No. We have more fun. We have had the best stories. 2019 LSU was the best college football team of all time.
It's not even close.
I'm not. We're the best. We're the best.
Absolutely.
Louisiana football, Saints and LSU. We got the best. We got the best college football stadium. We got the loudest college football stadium. We got the best NFL franchise with the best fan base. And I'm not jealous of anybody. I don't care how many trophies they got.
No.
It's not fun being a Bama fan.
No, it's not.
Want that. I don't want that.
I don't either.
I love what we have. And it's the best city in the world, New Orleans, Louisiana. And Sean Payton, man, he rebuilt our franchise into a winner. And it's going to stay that way. I've got no doubt about it. We are built for long-term sustained success.
I just don't think that it goes back to those dark days. I mean, if Jim Haslett can win here.
Yeah.
I love Big Bad Jim. Okay. By the way, I was a Jim Haslett fan. I always,
I mean, he won our first playoff game.
Damn right he did.
Absolutely.
And look, he wasn't a horrible coach. Things kind of got out of control. He just never had a quarterback. I mean, ultimately the game of football, you got to have a quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, you're only as good as your quarterback. That is football truth. And those are issues that we've got to deal with, but we'll figure it out. The Saints are, they're going to do it.
I agree.
And if not, we won a Super Bowl already. So we're playing with house money. We have a Lombardi. Thomas Morse did as a rookie onside kick to start the second half. Jim Nantz called it. White ball. Well, Sean Payton has, changed the culture and turned a lovable loser into a perennial power. And 62% wins over 15 years is unbelievable. He made the playoffs like 60% of the time. He won 7 division championships. It's just unbelievable. What else can you ask for? We had one playoff win before he showed up, and now we've had like 10 since.
Right
across different years, different eras, different styles. We've had good defenses, we've had bad defenses. We've had Drew Brees, which was the one consistent, which. He's the greatest quarterback of all time, period.
Oh, even in Saints history or forever, ever?
Forever. Oh, yeah. No, he's the greatest quarterback of all time.
Over Tom Brady.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Yes. That's a hot take. I like it.
Yes.
I like it.
Yes.
Okay.
He has more yards.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, he'll end up number 2 behind Joe Burrow.
All right.
Who will be the greatest quarterback of all time. He's going to win 47 Super Bowls. You may want to edit this out. We may have jumped the shark here.
Bottom line, it'll be saved for prosperity. And we both know that they should just induct him into the Hall of Fame next year.
At the age of 68, he's going to win a Super Bowl and then retire.
I don't see why he can't still throw 15 to 18 touchdown passes when he's 60 years old.
If you get him an O-line and just give him some time, he may just sit there and just throw forever.
Look, these guys are going to absolutely have to figure out how to scheme something against the Rams, because those guys got to be licking chops. And they've also been known to choke. I don't think the Bengals know any better. It's kind of like the Saints that year that they finally make it. They get through to the Super Bowl. They kind of didn't know any better than to just win the damn game.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, the Bengals, they kind of don't know any better. Just go win the game. Where the Rams, they've been there. You know, they know what they've come up short. And that could be maybe a scary deal, but it's also scary with really and truly, what does Cincinnati have to lose? I think all the pressure's on the Rams here.
Yeah. I agree. They're favored by 4.5 for some reason. I think maybe you and me should do a podcast next week about the Bengals.
Yeah, I agree.
Because they are going to win the Super Bowl. There's, and we need to come. My cousin is a huge Bengals fan. He lives in Kentucky, and I would like to go through his psychology of, like, as a Bengals fan, completely negative, because he's like, I told him, I was like, you guys got Burrow. I'm telling you, he's going to win you a Super Bowl. I mean, this is like when he got drafted, like, he's going to win you all Super Bowl in a few years. And Jonathan was like, I don't know, man. We're the Bengals. we're the Bungles. Like, we screw everything up. Like, I'm like, no. You don't understand. Joe Burrow is going to win a Super Bowl.
Right.
Really? Nah, I don't know. Like, so I'd like to walk you through that whole thing. Like,
yeah.
And now I called him the other day, and he's like, oh my God, dude, you're right. We're going to win the Super Bowl. We're going to win the Super Bowl. Like, I told you, bro. It's Joe Burrow. He don't lose, man. He don't lose.
Exactly.
And he don't lose. And he ain't going to lose to the LA Rams in LA. It don't matter. Jamar Chase. And
I as hell wouldn't bet against him. I know that.
Yeah. It is. I mean, we went through that, and, like, okay. Yeah.
We've seen this run before.
His first year, he was decent, and he beat Georgia, and then we beat UCF in the Fiesta Bowl. The next year, it was on, bro, and he ain't losing. That's where the Bengals are right now. Like, I've seen this before. Like, they are going to beat the shit out of the LA Rams. That's what's going to happen.
Boom. That's what I'm talking about, Dr. Ware. Amen, brother. I hope you are right. We'll see. Well, look, I think that's a good spot to end this week's episode. I want to once again thank Dr. Ware for coming on to the show this week, and I look forward to having him again very, very soon. Please help the show and the channel by subscribing, dropping a review. It helps us to reach a wider audience. The algorithms really seem to like that. So if you don't mind doing that, I sure would appreciate it. I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great rest of your week. And we look forward to seeing you again next Wednesday.